Let's talk to Harold the H. Peacock. He is our Ipswich historian. How are you, the Peacock man?
I'm very excited, Danny. It's Coronation Day.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. How are the Jules Crowns? All right? They're going all right?
They're really good. What about you? What are you doing for Coronation this week?
I'm going to watch a bit of it, but I think I'll watch the Finns. Get your fin up! Playing the Storm tonight. Wayne Bennett, 900 games, but he's dirty they didn't count the games he played with the BRL. It's up to more than 900 because Southerners don't respect us. They just come up here, flood our roads, use our electricity. I just don't want to bag them.
They enjoy our sun, they enjoy our weather, they even listen to our radio announcements.
Yeah, they do, but bag us. We're not as good as John Laws, not as good as Ray Hadley. Oh, go and get stuffed, a lot of you. Anyhow, let's get into this.
Yeah, I'm telling you about coronation days in Ipswich throughout history because this is only the 5th coronation in the history of Ipswich. That's since Queen Victoria was crowned back in 1838. Now, the most recent coronation, of course, was for Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Celebrations here in Ipswich included trooping the colours out at Amberley, a sports day, religious services and a spectacular street procession. The Ipswich Girl Guides had an amazing float on the back of a KB5 international truck. There were even 4 people from Ipswich who travelled to London to be part of the official proceedings. I should mention their names. They're Corporal Humphreys, Corporal Denadels, Corporal Howes, and leading aircraftman McLeod. So if you or any of your families are listening right now, thank you for your service.
Yes.
Now, for the coronation of King Edward VII in 1902, the first ever person from Ipswich to be a member of an Australian coronation contingent was Trooper Frank Shy.
Oh, Frank.
Now, Frank is memorable because his sister Hannah married his son George. In other words, she married a nephew. Now, in 1911, for the coronation of King George V, celebrations included a coronation fete, a church service in the town hall in the morning, a huge parade finishing in Queen's Park in the afternoon, and a patriotic rally in the North Ipswich Reserve in the evening. Now, it was Leonard Francis who conducted the choirs throughout the day. Francis's greatest triumphs had come when he twice led the Blackstone Cambrian Choir to the Grand Championship for choirs in Australia. Now, for the parade, nearly 4,000 Ipswich children took part, as well as every association, club and band that the town could muster. The procession was over a mile long, and when the head of the procession reached Queen's Park, the other end hadn't even left town at Ellenborough Street.
Holy snapping!
Yeah, now the parade chief marshal was Major C.A.H. Watson. Now, Major Watson was the head teacher at the Ipswich Central State School. The last words that he would utter just 3 years later, as he reclined on his veranda chair, was an order to telephone the doctor. But the doctor came too late.
I was dead.
Now, the 1937 coronation for King George VI was perhaps the most amazing of all for Ipswich. There was a special coronation race meeting in Bundamba that attracted record entries and a record attendance. The Ipswich City Council arranged for coronation badges for all the school children in Ipswich, and these badges got them into the Ipswich Coronation Show for free. And there was the Australian coronation contingent that travelled to London to play an official role in the King's coronation. The Queensland section was led by Ipswich man Captain A.L. Elliott. Now, Captain Elliott described the opportunity as the most memorable experience of his life. He was selected to be an officer of the Palace Guard at Buckingham Palace and was also one of the mounted officers for the King's coronation escort. Now, from the moment that he stepped ashore in London, Captain Elliott was inundated with fan mail. On the first day, he received 70 letters. On the second day, there was another 70, and so it went on for the next 2 or 3 days. Captain Elliot and his Queensland contingent were an absolute hit in the old country.
Oh.
When the contingent returned to Australia, they paraded through the streets of Sydney and Brisbane. But all people wanted to hear was about the letters they'd got. When the men had arrived in London, there was great acclaim because it was said that they looked particularly well. They were dressed in their scarlet-faced tunics and gleaming trappings. And then there was the crowning glory of the emu feathers in the slouch hats. Now, the remarkable truth is that the bags of letters that arrived were all from young ladies who were anxious to make their acquaintance. The letters were offering all sorts of steamy friendships and matrimony. Now, all Ipswich's Captain Elliot and his men would say when they got back was that it was the feathers that did it. We don't know what else happened after that.
Well, as a matter of fact, I've been out chasing emus around Ipswich and I've got plenty of feathers on board now, so I hope when I get outside I'll look like a peacock. And you're a peacock.
Well, it can't hurt. You know, the emu feathers did the trick back in 1937. No reason why it can't work now, can it?
The light horsemen used to have, you know how you became a light horseman? They used to put emu feathers in their hats and you had to ride past each other and grab the emu feather, and if you couldn't grab it, you weren't in the light horse. Did you know that?
Yes, and the emu feathers started right here in Queensland. That was a Queensland tradition that started here, and hence that contingent that went to London. And Danny, that experience of the marriage proposals and all sorts of other proposals for the Australians over there, that probably started that tradition of Australians going over to London.
He was probably
to make their fortune.
He was probably taking part in Queensland in national do your gardening in the nude day, and he had the emu feathers covering up the latrine, you know, the how's your father-in-law's. So anyhow.
Well, I haven't found any evidence of that.
No.
Possibly, but I haven't found any evidence.
Mate, again, one of the great storytellers, what a great story. You build it up. We ended up with emu plumes over the flange, and what a great... How do we get this story and see it?
Yes, go online to historyouthere.com and I'll be putting on there photos of all these people that were involved, including that Ipswich Girl Guides truck from 1953. It was an amazing flight.
It is. I'm actually going out later on out the back here at Plainland, chasing a few more emus, get some more emu plumes. All right, mate.
Nothing like a good
I'm
feather
not
tickling.
doing that. Oh, I'm going to Government House today. Forget the emus. I'm going to Government House today. And tomorrow, I'm going to opera in the gardens at Mount Coot-tha Botanical Gardens, because that raises money for Drug Harm, which is a really important program to reduce the harms of alcohol and other drugs, including here in Ipswich.
Mate, great story. Thanks for taking the time. And, God save our king. All right, it's now 8:31. Here is the news.